Fellow Earthlings, Corey, this is not going to be for everybody. It's directly pointed to Jerry Norcia, DTE's CEO. Hey, Jerry, I hope that you feel tough sending out your flying monkeys to dick with the elderly in this state and expect to live with it. You're not. So before I begin, I'm going to be reading, and some people may not even want to listen to this. However, it may actually put some things into perspective for some folk. So, to this I shall add an account of an experience. I was once carried up in my spirit to the heaven of angels, to one community there. Then some of the wise men came to me asking, "What is the news from earth?" I told them that the news was that the Lord has revealed secrets far surpassing in excellence any so far revealed since the church began. What are they asked. I said that these were, in every detail, the word contains a spiritual sense, corresponding to the natural sense, and by means of that sense, the word forms a link between people in the church and the Lord. It also creates an association with angels, and the holiness of the word resides in that sense. The correspondences of which the spiritual sense is comprised have been disclosed. Did not the inhabitants of earth, asked the angels, previously know about correspondences? I told them that they knew nothing about them at all, since they had been lost to sight for thousands of years, in fact, since the time of Job. The people of that and earlier ages regarded the knowledge of correspondences as the supreme science, and it was the source of their wisdom because it was knowledge of spiritual matters to do with heaven and so with the church. But because the science turned into an idolatrous one, it was, by the Lord's divine providence, so thoroughly wiped out and lost that no one could see any trace of it. Now, however, it has been disclosed by the Lord, so that people belonging to the church may be linked with him and associated with angels. Both of these take place by means of the word, every detail of which is a correspondence. The angels were extremely happy that it had pleased the Lord to reveal this great secret, which is lain so deeply hidden for thousands of years. They said that the church, which is based upon the word, and now that its end should be revived and draw its breath from the Lord through heaven. They inquired whether by this science it had been disclosed what was the meaning of baptism and the Holy Supper, which up to now have been subject to many speculations. I replied that it had. I went on to say that the present time the Lord had made a revelation about life after death. Well, what about life after death, said the angels. Surely everyone knows that a person lives on after death. They do and they do not, I replied. They say that what lives is not the person, but his soul, and this lives as a spirit. Their notion of the spirit is that it is like the wind or the ether, and they say that the person will not live after Judgment Day. At that time, their bodily remains, which they left in the world, however, eaten away by worms, rats, or fish, will be gathered together again and reconstituted to form a body. And this is how people will be together to life again, or be brought to life again. What an idea, said the angels. Everyone knows that a person goes on living as a person after death, with the single difference that he lives as a spiritual person. And a spiritual person can see another spiritual person, just as a material person can see another material person. They are unaware that there's any difference, except that they are in a more perfect state. The angels asked, what do they know of our world and about heaven and hell? I replied that they knew nothing, but that at the present time the Lord had disclosed what that world where angels and spirits live is like, and so what heaven and hell are like. It has also been revealed that angels and spirits are linked with human beings and many other surprising facts. The angels were glad that the Lord had been pleased to disclose such matters, so that mankind should no longer be driven by ignorance to doubt its own immortality. I went on to speak of another matter revealed by the Lord at the present time. Your world has a different sun, S-U-N, from ours. The sun of your world the son of your world is undiluted love. The son of our world is undiluted fire. Consequently, all the radiation from the sun, being undiluted love, has something of life in it. All the radiation from ours, being undiluted fire, has no life in it. This is the origin of the distinction between what is spiritual and what is natural. A distinction hitherto unknown, which has been disclosed. From these facts, it has been known that what is the source of light which enlightens the human intellect with wisdom, and what is the source of heat which fires the human will with love. In addition, it has been disclosed that there are 3 degrees of life, and that there are consequently 3 heavens, and a person's mind is divided into those 3 degrees. So that as a result, a person corresponds to 3 heavens. Did they not know this before? Said the angels. I replied that they knew about the degrees between greater and less, but nothing about degrees between prior and posterior. The angels asked whether there had been more revelations than these. I said there had. These were about the last judgment, and the Lord as being the God of heaven and earth, that God is one both in person and in essence, and in him is the divine Trinity, and he is of the Lord. Other revelations were about the new church to be established by the Lord, and the teaching of that church, about the holiness of the sacred scripture. The book of Revelation 2 had been revealed, and not a single verse in it could have been revealed except by the Lord. Moreover, about the inhabitants of the planets and other worlds in the universe. Furthermore, many wonders and accounts of experiences had been reported from the spiritual world, by means of which a great deal of wisdom from heaven had been disclosed. That was Emmanuel Swedenborg, 352 Chadwick. So that now being out there in the ether, I bet you guys feel tough for going and dicking with one of your elders.